When should we eat carbohydrates? Before I answer that, I must clarify which carbs we can eat. You see, every part of a plant itself, this means their leaves, this means their flowers, their stems, its bark, the root, the tubers, some whatever bulb that is inside the dirt is off the table. It is filled with plant defense chemicals, which is the equivalent of an animal running away. But since this one cannot, they do a biochemical defense. Seeds are also as much or even more biochemically protected. Just like an egg, white has anti-nutrients to protect the yolk, the actual child. Seeds are filled with these compounds to make sure that you find it bitter and that you not eat it. If you somewhat mistakenly bite on one, you will spit it out, and next time you eat the same fruit, you will choose either to spit or to swallow the seed. So every type of grain is off the menu. It's a seed. Every type of nut is a seed. It's off the menu. Every type of legume, it's a seed. It's off the menu. Within the plants, what you can do is eat the fruit. You see, fruit is something that the plant gives to you. It even drops it on the floor. But the parts I mentioned around what is a plant, you need to rob it from the plant. And thus, it is sweet, you taste it, you find it pleasurable, and you spit the seed or you poop it out further away with some fertilizer, which will help a new plant to grow in that new spot. What about some other types of carbohydrates? Honey is also mostly okay. Milk, and I need to clarify, if it's raw, it's mostly okay. But there is a caveat. You see, even if you consume raw milk, organic fruits, and organic honey, you might still get reactions within your body. Why? Because our body works like a police station. If there is a criminal going around and doing bad things, they take him in and they take a mugshot. And every time, after he is released in a few months or years, every time they see him, they are on the lookout because he might do something bad again. And most of us are very sensitive, which is the new word for intolerant, for plenty of foods which most people are not understanding. You see, if you drink plenty of pasteurized, meaning boiled milk throughout your life, you for sure have some sensitivities to it. Why? Because the amount you consumed of this bad thing created problems within your body, and now your body is on the lookout. And even if you have raw milk, meaning this purer version, you still have a reactivity because your body just see a milk protein and it associates with doing bad things to your body. Fruits, if you had a lot of non-organic, meaning commercial fruits throughout your life, and it was very often the same type of fruit, you for sure are sensitive to that same fruit. And now if you go have organic one, you have sensitivity, you have inflammation in your body. The same for honey. If you had too much honey that was commercial, meaning it was sprayed with glyphosate, same as the fruits, you for sure are sensitive, because glyphosate, this Roundup is not supposed to go inside a person's body, not even to nature whatsoever. If anything, it's supposed to clean rust from a metal or whatever. It's something that has nothing to do with nutrition. It should not be going inside. And when it does go inside on so many different people, and it's so often nowadays, our body reacts to it by defending itself. And when the body defends itself, there is a riot, there is a war. And the same way as when police are doing a chase, they might break some glasses or some tables or whatever, trying to catch that person. And then comes inflammation, because there was a war. That is inflammation. And antibodies are those mugshots your body takes of it. That's why I say most people are intolerant to milk, to fruits, and to honey. Only people who had raw milk all of their lives, organic fruits and organic honey, are most probably, unless they consumed copious amounts of it, they are most probably completely tolerant to those, meaning zero antibodies, zero inflammation when they have them. By the way, this applies to eggs, this applies to commercial poultry, this applies to even some farm-raised fish. You have to do your diligence. Now on to the main question: when should we eat them, now that we know which to eat? You can choose to never consume them, meaning even with some organs that you might eat, you'll mostly get around 0 to 5% grams per day of carbohydrates, meaning you'll always be for sure fat burning. Or you can eat them all the time and age your body, which is not an option I am giving you, of course. You can isolate them. If you want to consume some fruit or some milk or some honey throughout the day, make sure it's outside the main meals. You might do some breakfast, some lunch, and some dinner around meat, butter, salt, water. When I say meat, I include fish, of course. And if you want to do any of these three between meals, make sure the amount you're consuming will not surpass 50 grams of carbs in a day, so that you'll still be fat burning. But once in a while the king has its birthday and you want to consume as much as you wish. You want to be fully unrestrained. And this is my recommendation, is you don't even think about this option and you go for this one once in a while. After dinner, you clean the dishes, you arrange the table, whatever, and then you can have as much fruit as you wish. Go for the ones with less fiber. You don't want to bulk up your stools and have undigestible fiber going on around, worsening your digestion for sure. You have some fruits, whatever. You might have some honey, you might have some raw milk, or you have one of the three only. You don't need to mix them up, do you? And you will possibly pass the 50 grams quickly, because you're not restraining yourself. When what will happen is that your body will go from fat burning mode to sugar burning mode. That's why when we eat some piece of carb, sometimes it elevates our sugar cravings. Plenty of people on the carnivore diet, because they don't consume enough fat, are always on sugar burning. That's why they need to consume so much freaking meat, so that it converts into sugar through gluconeogenesis. And that's why they have so many sugar cravings. A famous example of this is Jordan Peterson. He has done wrong carnivore throughout most of these years. That's why he is so aged, his hair is so white, and his skin is not ideal, even though he had so many benefits, because he started increasing all of these micro and macronutrients and it took out the plant defense compounds and all this crap. You are fat burning until morning. But there is no problem, because you will eat, even if you have some little sugar cravings, you eat some more honey or some more milk or whatever, and then you'll feel satisfied. And because you go to sleep, your body is not burning, is not using a whole bunch of sugar, meaning you will not get more cravings once again. Then, when you wake up, you can go eat your meat, your fatty meat again. Imagine you did this in the morning or in the middle of the day. Now you have to feed yourself with sugar or with carbs throughout the day so that you feel energized and so that you feel okay. Because your body needs a steady amount of glucose going in the bloodstream, and especially for the brain, meaning that every time it's low, your body will ask you for more sugar, for more sugar, for more sugar. So I recommend you most definitely, when you do, it's after dinner. And if you, for some stupid reason, want to do it between meals, make sure you don't surpass 50 a day. Always fat burning, some people believe it's not so good. I mean, I see wildcats doing it all of their lives, but also people say, oh, but they don't live all that long. But most of them pass a lot of hunger, so I don't know what to take. That's why they are so mad so often. They are always hungry. So we can take that as a sign of health. You see, for example, some bears that are hungry, they will attack humans. But if you go, like Joe Rogan showed, to a place where bears are always completely full to their bellies with salmon or whatever, they will just look at the human just like a fellow predator. They don't care. When you're fully fed, fully nurtured, you feel okay. People like Paul Saladin, which I admire greatly because people like him are doing a tremendous job of showing the mainstream people what not to consume. They sometimes reach their new conclusion because they start consuming either too little water, too little fat, too little protein, too little micronutrients, like for example the salt or sodium mineral, and then they conclude that this is not sustainable. Plenty of people, like for example Dr. Anthony Chaffee, is always around here, and he feels good and he looks good, and you see his emotional health is pretty good. He always shows a very good vibe. He works a lot, probably even more than what would be ideal for rest purposes. He only eats once a day, and you still see a lot of health and well-being and balance, mental and emotional balance right there. So I would argue with this evidence that this is perfectly fine. I myself do this version once in a while. I've even eaten some berries throughout the day, but that was when I was not doing proper carnivore. I was feeling uneasy, and then the cravings came up, and so I gave in. Who cares? It's after dinner, I'll be sugar burning until morning, and by morning I can go up to fat again. But I see time and time again that if I fail the amount of water, we are around 65% water. If I fail my daily volume of food to get around 65% around of water, I know for sure that there is some whatever being tired or whatever symptom. I know if I don't get my around 20% by volume protein a day, meaning muscle meat or organs or whatever, I know I won't feel ideal. I know if I don't get my at least 10% of fat, I mean always by volume, I usually do butter. I know I won't feel ideal. I know if I don't consume enough salt, I know I won't feel ideal. I know if I cook my meat way too much, meaning I reduce the vitamins, the minerals, and all these compounds like creatine and taurine and carnosine and carnitine and choline and CoQ10, I know I won't feel ideal. Meaning, I believe that we should be very cautious about, if we want to feel ideal, about consuming high water, high protein, high fat, and enough sodium to make sure that carnivore works or animal-based work. Because if we don't, we always feel tempted to go right here. We always feel tempted to go to the carbs. Carbs are supposed to be a pleasure, like an add-on. Oh, I'm perfectly satisfied, but the fruit wouldn't taste bad. It will be okay. It's like that person who has a cigarette because he's sitting, he's relaxed, whatever. And then there comes the people who is, I must smoke a cigarette. And it's far too different. I would argue you don't need carbs for anything. Bears consume carbs seasonally before they enter their big sleep for months, so that they fatten up enough to have energy reserves for all of that hibernation period. We don't hibernate. And we nowadays, unless it is your case, most of us don't have to put on a lot of fat for the winter because we have access to food throughout all of autumn, winter, and spring. We don't need to reserve food. I myself consume a lot of fat, not purposely, not forcefully, but I trust my body and I've seen it wants a lot of fat. And what I've managed to see is that my testosterone went to the upper limit on the expected range. My body composition has improved. Even though I actually quit the gym, I look more robust, more healthy. I used to be very skinny along my arms, my legs, and my overall body looked far too frail. And now it's looking more robust, more healthy. And I do recommend that we should trust our bodies around the amount of water, the amount of protein, the amount of fat, the amount of minerals, and whatever that we consume daily, by having a big portion in front of us and then having the body decide how much it wants. Don't run away from water or from meat or from fat like butter or from salt, but don't force yourself to consume it either. Let your body decide. If you go to the bathroom and your pee is far too yellow, you need to increase your water. Because on carnivore, even if you go below the requirements, you won't feel ideal, but you won't feel the so typical cravings. I need to drink. No, it's, or I need to eat, I need some salt. You don't even feel like you need it. You just feel a little bit off. You just don't feel optimally. You go to the bathroom, it's too yellow. Make sure next time you drink a little bit more water. You have your protein. There comes a time when you just don't want anything more. You're filled. You just stop. You have your fat. You consume as much. There comes a time you feel I don't want anymore. But if you don't start putting in your mouth this butter or fat or whatever, you won't be able to tell that how much you need, because your body might feel like, oh, there's no fat around today, I guess that's it, and it won't give you craving. You need to start drinking some water, start eating some protein, start eating some fat and some salt to know how much is too much. Even the salt, You might even feel like, oh, I don't need salt. But once you put salt in your mouth, then you can know, oh, I feel I want a little bit more of this. But then there comes a time, it's coming too salty, I don't want it anymore. We have to feed ourselves and then let the body decide, no, it's enough. But when it comes to carbs, carbs are made naturally for fattening up for the winter or for hibernation. That's why even milk, which is made for the growth of a little baby, is made so to increase your appetite. Every single one of these is made to increase your appetite. If you learned or relearned something from this video, please leave a like. If you know somebody who can benefit from this, please send them the link. If you want to check more videos around body, around family, around home, check out my channel. If you want to be on the cusp of seeing the newer ones that are always coming up, hit that subscribe button. I now also do consultations. If you go to consultation.joelclement.com, you can book one and then we'll have a video call. Thanks.